Hello everybody, welcome to Speak Votomi. Thank you so much for joining me. If it is your first time here, you are absolutely welcome. Thank you for watching, and I trust that you will like this video, comment in the comment section down below, and share this video with everybody in your world. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bells, and you will not miss a thing when I post. So this video only made sense to shoot in the car since I am talking about my car video, and this has been something I wanted to talk about for a very long time, but I haven't been able to do it just because of many factors actually, whether it was what would people say or just not feeling like it's something that I deserved. But anyway, we're gonna do it now. So without further ado, Speak Votomi. Let's go. So it was on the 5th of June in 2018, and if you have watched the My Story video, if you haven't, please do go back. That's when I speak about how I was depressed and how I dropped out of school, and there were just so many things that were going on around that time. However, I did eventually conquer, but in 2018 in June, it was still at its horrible stage. I was still in a very, very dark space. I didn't really wanna just be around people. I was feeling sorry for myself more than anything. I was just upset, and more than anything I felt incapable. And this actually links very nicely to next week's video, so look out for that one, but I won't get ahead of myself. And so on the 5th of June in 2018, I remember I was helping out at church, and I left with my parents that morning, and in the afternoon I was going to come home with them to pack, as they were going to, I think they were going to a conference somewhere, and I was going to help them pack so that they can leave for that. And so I finished assisting at church. There was a conference around the corner, there was quite a lot to do, but then we assisted, and then my dad was like, okay, cool, let's go. Can I just remind you that I am dressed in black? My hair doesn't look the greatest because I was just doing the most with my hair. If I wasn't shaving it on the side, I was keeping it short. I was trying to grow it. I wasn't growing it. My life was just a mess. Anyway, so we finished up at church, and Dad is like, okay, let's go. And then on the way he was like, oh yeah, but I remember they said the bakkie at church needed to I think it needed to be upgraded or something along those lines. And so we went to a car dealership, and he's like, and he explains to me that no, I just need to check it out before I confirm that they can get it. It makes sense to me. I don't have anything to be suspicious of. And my mom is also in the car as well. So we get there, and then they're like, let's all get out. So my first thought is, why? Why am I getting out of the car to go see a bakkie? I didn't even want to wake up this morning. Do you understand? But anyway, being the obedient child that I am, well, sometimes, then I got out of the car, and I was so not interested as to what was going on. You know, when you just get out, but you go stand in some corner and you be thinking about stuff. I was just a lot going in my head. I was just, when you're present but you're not present, my mind was just everywhere but where it needed to be. And so then I see my dad signing documents, and obviously there's a car that I see that's there, and it's wrapped in ribbon. But this doesn't faze me much because this happens all the time when you go to a car dealership. It's probably for somebody else that's coming to pick it up anyway, so I don't think much of it. And then eventually my mom and dad were like, okay, Nkati, here's a car. You know what, just reflecting back on that moment, I can see exactly why I felt what I felt then. And most people's reaction is to cry or maybe to be happy, in which I cried, but it wasn't happy crying. Not one bit was I happy, the crying that I was letting out was, guys, please take this back because I don't deserve it. I mean, I dropped out of school. I failed my first year twice. I failed even the repeat year, and which eventually led me to dropping out. I was a horrible child in the sense that I was very snappy, I was very moody, and that came as obviously due to me being depressed. I wasn't myself. I spent a lot of the time in my room anyway, so like, why would you do this? Like, what on earth made you feel like you can do this? So a part of me was angry, and a part of me was just like, no, I don't deserve this. I really, really don't deserve it. And one day, I'm hoping soon you'll hear my parents tell it from their side of the story, because my dad mentions to me, he's like, most people are happy, when they get a car. That was the first time in my life I saw somebody react that way. And the people that are there, the sales people that come, they normally come, and they take out some bubbles and they celebrate with the person that's getting the car. Literally, I saw them like low-key step back, because they were like, the way that this person is crying doesn't show that they're happy, And the whole time I am shaking, and I'm begging them to say no, I can't do this. And eventually my mom says to me that our love is not something that we need to earn. Our love is not something that you need to earn. And I think for me, more than anything, like, if you just think about it, it's I'm not trying to be materialistic or anything, because at the end of the day, it is like, it's just a car. But for me, it's what it symbolizes that means so much more to me. The fact that it's a reminder, of God's love, because truth is, I wasn't deserving. And, maybe we can argue that later on. But like I said, I had dropped out of school. I was not at my best state. But that just reminded me that, and it continues to remind me of the love of God, that we are so undeserving, that we are so unworthy, but yet He does it anyway. So for her to explain it that way to me, it's the thing that I will always remember about the day that I got my car. And also just to show how not prepared I was, and how I was dressed in black. I don't know what I was mourning. Was I mourning my dreams? My hair looked ridiculous. There was just a lot of things that were going on. I was, between weights and sizes, and it was just so much. But I think in that moment I got reminded of the grace of God and the love of God, how undeserving I was, but He gave it to me anyway. And just to show you how hard it was still to accept, even though my mom had explained it to me and had told me that it's not something that we wanted you to earn. It's something that we wanted to show, to give to you, to remind you that you don't have to earn our love and stuff like that. It was still hard for me to accept that, in the sense that even when I think that first week I didn't drive the car, except when I brought it home. And even when I used to go to places, I would make sure I went to places where no one that knew me would know. It's not something that I posted about. It's not something that I told people about. Even when I went to church and stuff, I would park far away, and then I would walk, just so that people wouldn't know, in a sense, because what was supposed to it doesn't give me worth, but what was something that was given to me to remind me of my worth, I still took as something that was shameful, because for the most part, I just thought about how maybe my parents would be judged to say, umntana kuyafeyila, and then they continue to just spoil her with stuff, in a sense. And I'm just so grateful that God delivered me from abantu bazothini syndrome, because it really, really did hold me back. It did hold me back from telling people about this. It did hold me back from, it held me back from a lot of things. And a huge part of me felt like I don't deserve it, and it should probably go to somebody who is, you know, more deserving and more needing of this. One of my older sisters came and she had to sit me down and talk to me and let me know to say, you keep parking your car far away, you keep not speaking about it, even when you step out of the car, it's like there's something to be ashamed about, or, you know, and she was just telling me that this is not okay, because it is not solely about you. It is more about the gift, and it is more about the gift, the giver. And this just took me back once again to the love of God, to say that his gift was Christ, and that had very little to do with whether we were deserving or not, because truth is we were not, but he gave it anyway, and that was a reflection of who he was. He was the ultimate giver. And that's what she was saying to me, essentially, that to say, you know what, like, if it makes you feel better, like, she understood why it is that I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, but she also told me that, you know what, if it makes you feel better, and I'm sure it will make you feel better, is if you focus on the giver of the gift, to know that, you know, ultimately it is God who provides, and he made it possible for my parents to be able to do this, but also it is them who saw it befitting to show you that you do not have to earn God's love. So I consider myself extremely blessed, and every single time I step into the car, I remember, you know, just how much how not deserving I was, but God saw it befitting as well, that I be entrusted with this gift. And I think that is my message to everybody. I know it was more of a, you know, it was me being thankful and just thanking God for this gift, but I think it's something that you can do in your life as well, to say that there were things, you know, there are things that will come your way and you might feel as though you are undeserving, and truth is maybe you even are, but just remember the giver of those gifts, you know, of that gift. And I remember back in high school, this one preacher that we watched in one of the space sessions that we had, and he was just speaking about life is not about getting what you deserve, because if we did, some of us would unfortunately have to get death, and I think I can count myself part of those people. But life is about getting what you do not deserve, and that's what we continue to get every single day because of just how good God is, and it has very little to do with how good we are in return. So with all of this being said, I just hope I was able to either take you back or just remind you of a moment wherein you were able to experience the love of God. And if you haven't, I say just hold on, it is coming. But I think it is also important to remember that there's a lot of things in life that will come your way and you would have worked for, but there's also just some things that God just puts in your path to remind you that you don't have to do every single thing on your strength and on your might, and he just reminds you that, you know what, it's more about me than it is about you. And for me, my car was one of them, and for you it can be anything else. And also just don't get yourself in that place where you are consumed by what other people will say, because you will struggle to enjoy some of the gifts that God gives you. It's a gift after all. A gift is not earned. You know, it's just like talents. Like some of us, you know, we were just born and we have singing talents. Some of us, you know, we were born and we can dance. I am neither of those people. But at the end of the day, it is not something that you went into your voice box and you played mechanic or whatever you want to call it in order for you to have that. It is something that was God-given, and it doesn't mean just because it's God-given and you didn't work for it doesn't mean that it's any less yours and that you're any less deserving. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it inspired you. And yeah, I was very scared to do this because I thought a lot of people would say that I'm bragging, but I promised myself that I will not be consumed by what will people say syndrome ever again. And God knows my heart. At the end of the day, I didn't do this to brag, but just to show you that, you know what, the love of God is something that you never have to earn. Yeah, so with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed.